I am Kristin Kalsem. I'm also a professor of law at the University of Cincinnati. I'm the Charles Hartstock Professor of Law, but I am here in my role as co-founder and co-director of the Center for Race, Gender, and Social Justice, the Nathaniel R. Center for Race, Gender, and Social Justice. We were just named for Judge Jones last November. We're thrilled because he was 92 at the time, still alive, still very much at the top of his game. And it's just such an honor because he was someone who also was incredibly interested in young people. He would be absolutely delighted with this project that you are doing because he really did believe that young people brought energy to the movement, that's where we should focus a lot of our efforts. And so because the Jones Center is designed to build a cohort of scholars, leaders, and activists who are committed to social change, his name on our center just made so much sense because that was just where he saw the need for the movement that he worked so hard in since the 60s to keep going. So I'm going to talk about the research that our center has been doing. So we do a certain kind of research that's community-based. So whereas a lot of universities and scholars go into communities, study problems, leave the community, and decide what policies should be argued for, the center is engaged in community-based research where we actually go out into the community and form co-research coalitions with them. So two of the areas that we've been very active in have been in the predatory lending area, which we come in with a focus that is very concerned about the fact that why are the majority of payday lending shops and those kind of things located in communities of color? Why is it that women of color have the highest poverty rates and are users of a lot of these mechanisms, some of which really act in a very predatory way? So we have been working with members of the community in various ways over the years to try to figure out what kinds of legal policies should be put in place to help address that. We also have a large research project going on intimate partner abuse. And that community-based group, so we are part of it as the center, but it's really the people who are on the ground dealing with those issues, including survivors of intimate partner abuse who have helped us develop training for judges. We've trained over 400 judges in Ohio in best practices in those cases to try to shed some light and bring more understanding as to why, for example, someone might not show up to court to further prosecute a case, or to understand just more of the dynamics of what are going on in those situations. Sure. So one of our students, Kate, is going to talk a little bit about the work that they are doing right now as legal observers, at least I think so, who are actually out there using particular skills that they have as law students to basically make sure that the rights of the protesters are being respected and that and not interfered with. The center is a place, I think, where a lot of those students gain the knowledge and sensibilities to kind of be able to do that kind of work in not a top-down fashion, but with a certain kind of understanding of what all is going on there, and to use their legal skills in a way that a lot of them is the reason they came to law school in the first place. As far as individual people, I'll tell a story about a couple of the women who were interviewed for our judicial trainings. So we were trying to figure out what to tell judges are best practices. What are they doing in courtrooms that's a good thing? What might they be doing in courtrooms that make people not want to come back? So we interviewed several survivors of intimate partner abuse. They were blurred out so that they remained anonymous, but so many of them literally were crying when asked whether or not they would tell their story because it would be helpful to other people, why we were using this, why we wanted to tell their story, and just to be heard, and to realize that what they experienced could in some way be useful or helpful to someone who might be in the same situation later. It was just a very moving project. Our students were involved in this project all along the way. It's kind of an ongoing project, so that's some of the work that we're doing, that is not just working to structurally change things, but to make a difference in individual people's lives.
Great, thank you.